Hello, Haishi no Nanano. Thank you so much for supporting us so many times on your channel. The 20th anniversary edition of How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb is released in November. And we have heard that Nanano loves this album. Thank you. We'll be watching from across the ocean in Ireland, and we'll see you soon.
How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb で一番好きな曲はどれですか？
So my favorite song on How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb is probably Vertigo. It's a song that we played pretty much since that album was released, and it really, I love it. I love the combination of energy, but there's a sense of humor in the lyric, which is also important. Because U2, we can get a little serious sometimes, so Vertigo's just a great combination of the energy, the punk energy, and a bit of humor. Also on that album is a hidden gem, Crumbs from Your Table, which I think is a great song. It probably hasn't been given as much attention as it ought to have.
今回のリマスターの中で一番音が変わったと思うものはどれですか？
So yeah, How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb is now 20 years old, which is kind of amazing to me because we're still playing a lot of those songs live, so they feel so relevant, so fresh. But what was really amazing was in the process of putting this release together, we got a chance to go back into the vault and find these outtakes and songs that were almost finished, but not quite finished enough to be contenders for the album, but recorded during that same period, which has now become the shadow album of How to Reassemble an Atomic Bomb. And that was a real thrill, because I hadn't heard some of those songs in 20 years. What was surprising was how fresh they sounded, how current they sounded, because at that moment we were trying to get back to the essence of what U2 had been as a band when we first formed. We were influenced a lot by the sort of post-punk music, which was a reboot for rock and roll, where it was okay not to be a great musician. It was okay to consider yourself a songwriter if you could, had something interesting to say, but maybe hadn't written anything before. And the vitality of that movement was something that inspired us a lot. And we were trying to get that into the songs for this album. And in some ways, you might say that the songs from How to Reassemble an Atomic Bomb were a better kind of example of the energy and the idea that we were going for when we were making the main album. So it's a thrill to have those songs come out now eventually.
How to Reassemble an Atomic Bomb のタイトルをつけたのは誰ですか？で、どの曲が一番気に入ってますか？
So the idea for the title was Bono's. Obviously a pun on the fact that this is a collection of songs that are after 20 years being finally put together. My favorite song is probably, it's a toss-up between Country Mile and Picture of You. But I have to say, I love Treason. I think that's an incredible song. And Evidence of Life, love that one as well. So I'm really enjoying all of them, to be honest. I think it hangs together almost like a full album on its own.
83年のアスフェスティバルの映像を当時テレビで見て以来 U2 の大ファンなのですが、それからいろいろなロックを聴きましたが U2 と同じ高潔さというものを感じたロックバンドはレイジ・アゲンスト・ザ・マシンが浮かびまして、でレイジのように解散せずに U2 が高潔さを保ちながらこれまで続けられた理由は何だと思いますか？
I love Rage Against the Machine. They're a fantastic band and we played with them in the past. I would say that a decision we made very early on has helped the band stay together over so many years, which is the decision we made to share and to really make it a true band, meaning that everyone's input is valid and valued. And So I think that really avoided any of the usual conflicts that occur in most bands. I saw the great documentary about the Beatles, Get Back, which, as a huge Beatles fan, that film was an incredible gift. But what struck me was, at that moment, you had, the songwriting team of Lennon and McCartney kind of not listening to George, who was coming in with songs, and you could see there was kind of tensions developing as a result. So, that's really what happens in most bands. Is you just, over time, you just get these tensions build and build, and then unfortunately it becomes much more difficult to hold a band together. So we're lucky. And the other thing is, we were friends, from the age of 16, 17, and genuine friends before we became a big success. So that's always there. That will never go away.
90年代 U2 のような電子サウンドへの興味は今もお持ちでしょうか？
I love electronic music. I went to see Depeche Mode recently, and it blew my mind. They're an incredible live act. So yes, I'm a huge fan of electronic music. I think when it comes to U2, we don't want to be too purists, so yes, we will use electronic sounds and electronic influences, but we always want to balance it with the organic quality of a rock and roll band, which is what we are in essence. It's the four members of U2 and the chemistry between the musicians and singers. But we don't want to be too slavish with that either, because that sound, unless you're really able to find innovative ways to use the instruments, can get a little predictable. So for us, it's always, if you can find some new combination of influences, that's where we like to be.
お客さんの待ってましたという喜びと、お客さんを驚かせる喜びはどちらが好きですか？
So playing live, you're always balancing the two ideas of, playing the hit songs or playing more unusual and unexpected pieces of music. So for us, it's always a blend of two. We don't want to just play the big songs because that's predictable. But if you just play experimental, unusual pieces that people aren't expecting, that also becomes a little tiresome. So it's finding that combination where you are surprising your audience, but you're also, giving value for money, which is, to play the big songs that people have come to see and hear.
あなたの歌が好きなので、またボーカル曲が聴きたいです。
I sing a lot, particularly on when the demos are being done. My challenge is knowing that in pretty much every case, Bono is going to sound better than I will ever sound. So it's hard to justify me taking a lead vocal. But it does happen occasionally, and I enjoy doing it when it does happen naturally. But what we are doing a lot of is harmony singing, and the combination of our voices is unique. And some would say that is, the most distinctive sound of U2 is the two voices. So we're enjoying that, and I think you'll hear more of that in the future.
最初に好きになったバンドなんで、すごい自分生きててよかったって言って、これ大げさじゃないんですよ。生きててよかったぐらい、やめてもいいぐらい思いましたからもう。じゃあ皆さん、How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb 20周年記念版、特にこのスーパーデラックス版、もう盛りだくさんですので、それでオールドファンの方もこれよりアルバムが楽しく見れます。世界観がこんないろいろ広がると思いますね。1枚のアルバムは、買ってください。チャンネル登録お願いします。